Hi，你好，Welcome back，欢迎回来to Wisdom Wednesday with Johnny Tiger on November 4th, 2020. Today is the first time, I guess, the Wisdom Wednesday you are not looking at me sitting down at the desk. Instead, you're looking at, or at least I hope you're looking at, the newest member to the family, this 2-month-old kitten named Aslan, who just arrived here uh, yesterday. He's really small, about the size of my hand, but very, very energetic, and have already inflicted several little puncture marks on my chest and shoulders and neck. He's a lot of fun. Right now, he's still a little bit fearful, and I'm sure just recently being separated from his mother, he's still a sad little fellow, but hopefully he will integrate into the Johnny Tiger clan relatively soon. I also want to showcase Aslan's temporary playpen, his own apartment, this huge cat uh, house or cage or whatever you want to call this. Uh, I don't know if you can make it out on the camera, but it's huge. Like it's actually come up to almost my shoulder. And it's about 3 feet by 4 feet, if I have to guess. And I'm rather proud of myself being able to put it together all by myself without anyone else here to give me a hand. Not bad for someone who's totally blind and can't read the instruction manual, if I may say so myself. Anyway, I digress. As usual, Wisdom Wednesday. Um, Last week and the week before, we've been talking about some very ghostly characters, and we're going to continue that trend because when it comes to interesting Chinese religious folklores and figures and characters, there are a lot of them related to the workings of hell or underworld or afterlife or purgatory or whatever you would call it. Now, in Chinese belief, in Taoism or Buddhism, it is not simple as if you do good things, you go to heaven, and you do bad things, you go to hell. In fact, you almost go to hell by default. The only people that end up in heaven are people who actually spend time to study, to train their body and mind to try to reach that godhood intentionally. And very few of those people would actually succeed. In rare cases, such as in the case of Zhong Kui, the king of ghosts, and many others, they became deities or gods only because of some interesting coincidence, or just happened that heaven needed people of their particular talent at the time. But uh, by default, pretty much anyone is destined to go to hell. And then they sort you out after you go to hell. You go to hell, and there's a big lineup. And then once you get to the front of the line, they go through, okay, what did you do in your life? And were you a good guy? Were you a bad guy? How did you die? Do you have any unfinished business? And then if everything check out, if all the paperwork are lined up, it's a very bureaucratic, actually. If everything lined up, then you can continue on to reincarnation. You get to reincarnate into your next life, and so on and so on. But if paperwork don't line up, like for example, if you die in a very violent manner, for example, then you're bound to this earth. You're bound to stay as a spirit until you can uh, make someone else die in your place. If you did a lot of bad things in your lifetime, then you have to stay in hell until you pay off those penance. You got to stay in hell to get punished, and until you're done being punished, you can't reincarnate. So again, even when it comes to punishment, the hell or underworld in Buddhism or Taoism, they are not this eternal place of torment if you don't believe in God. It's a very bureaucratic, very government-like organization in the afterlife where they sort you out and tell you if you have to do community service or go to jail or be punished, or you can go on to reincarnate, either become a human again or whatever you need to be. So uh, a lot of deities are linked to this massive bureaucratic system of afterlife, um, more so than actual people in heaven. Because as you can imagine, you need people to process the paperwork, you need people to make sure the spirits go where they're supposed to go, you need people to dish out the punishment, you need people to enforce the law and stuff like that. So there's a lot of deities that their sole purpose is to fulfill, to make sure that this machine runs smoothly, as smoothly as possible. One of the higher ranking uh, uh, spirits, spiritual deities, we can say, his name is Chen Wang, and there's actually already a story of Chen Wang in a past episode of the Johnny Tiger Experience podcast, which is the best podcast in the world. If you haven't heard it, you can find it on any podcast platform you listen to. Just search for the Johnny Tiger Experience podcast, and you will find it. So, since we already covered the story of Chen Wang. I'm not going to go into that today. Suffice to say, Chen Wang is basically what you would call the minister of wandering spirits. Uh, so his purpose is to make sure that these earthbound spirits know what they're supposed to do and stay within the bound set for them. So, for example, a person who died a violent death, let's say a person who got run over by a truck, he has to stick around and find an evil person and make sure that that evil person get run over by a truck before this first spirit get to go on and be reincarnated. Well, you need someone to make sure that this spirit doesn't just go out and find some old lady or young child and throw them in front of the truck. They have to follow the rules. They have to play by the rules. So that's basically what Chen Wang and his organization, his group, take care of. Chen Wang is the guy, the ghost or the deity that makes sure that the law of the spirit world is obeyed and observed, and if you break the law, then he call in guys like Zhong Kui and other ghostbusters and spirit catchers and demon slayers to deal with you. So you can say that those other guys are the enforcers, while Chen Wang is the guy who uh, does the paperwork, does the calling the shots and stuff like that. There's Chen temples everywhere in China and Taiwan, and every on the 15th of every month, it is customary for people to go and worship or to do a prayer, say a prayer, or to donate some money to Chen temples because hey, this guy is in charge of spirits obeying the law of the afterlife. So, you want to be on his good side because after you die, you want to you want him to treat you fairly and nicely. And even while you're alive, you want to make sure that he pays attention to you and make sure that no evil spirit is hiding behind the door, waiting to jump out at you and murder you in your sleep. So Chen Wang has gained huge popularity in China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, in Chinese culture in general. When you go to a Chen Wang temple, you will see that he is not alone. Besides the Chen Wang statue, there's usually eight uh, underlings or eight secretaries or eight people, eight ghosts, eight deities working for him. Now they all have their own individual interesting stories, but today we are going to focus on ghost number 7 and ghost number 8. Uh, in Mandarin, we call them 七爷, 八爷. 七 means 7, 八 means 8, and 爷 is a respectful way, say Mr. or Master or Elder, because 爷 comes from the word 爷爷, which is grandfather, elder. So 七爷, that's Cheyea, is master 7, and 八爷is master 8. 七爷, 八爷, we're going to go into their background today, and they are also often referred to as, and please, I'm not being racist here, but they are also known as the White Reaper and the Black Reaper. Because if you ever look at their statue, Chie, Master 7, is a tall, skinny guy over 7 feet tall and really, really pale. He's like paper white, and his tongue is protruding and hanging down to almost his chest. He looked really scary. And Baye, Master 8, is a short and stout and very wide, very thick torsoed ghost with black skin and look all very disfigured. He also looks really scary, but the two of them together uh, create quite a contrast. One is tall and skinny and white, the other one is short and fat and black. Or dark. Let me say dark, just so we don't get that racist vibe in here. So they are also known as the White uh, Reaper and the Black Reaper because 七爷八爷, their sole purpose is to do basically what the Grim Reaper does in Western mythology. When a person dies, no matter how they die, the spirit often is confused. The spirit doesn't know where to go. So it is said that at the moment of your death, actually a little bit before you die, 七爷八爷 shows up with handcuffs and shackles and chains, and they will bind your spirit and take you off to the afterlife, to the underworld, and show you where to go and process your paperwork and stuff like that. So you can say that 七爷八爷, they are the Chinese version of the Grim Reaper. Also, they are sort of your underworld version of police officers. That they are uh, they come and collect you and take you to where you need to go. Make sure that you don't get away. And because if a spirit doesn't go into the underworld as they're supposed to, the spirit is bound to wander the world and cause a lot of problem for people. They become demonic. They become spiteful spirits, and they can cause a lot of problem. So 七爷八爷, the Master 7, Master 8, they show up, handcuff you, shackle you, tie you up nice and good, and take you off to the underworld and put you in that big, massive lineup so you can get your paperwork processed. The story goes that when they were alive, Master Seven, Qi was a guy named Xie. That's Shia, Xie. And he was tall and pale and slender. And Master Eight, his name was Fun, Fun, Fun. He was short and stout, strong and dark of skin. Both of them were constables in the kingdom, and they were some of the best constables, some of the best law enforcers in the kingdom. They worked together very often. They were the best of friends. They were like brothers because they've been on so many cases together, bringing in criminals. It was said that no one could escape when Xie and Fan worked together to bring them in. One day, while being sent out to chase down another criminal, Xie and Fan came to this wide river with a bridge across it. And at the time, Xie could tell that the sky was getting dark, the dark thunderclouds were rolling in. Uh, so he said to Fan, he said, "Hey, look, it looks like it's going to rain, look like a storm is rolling in. My place is not far from here. If I run, I can probably get there in half an hour, and I can grab us a couple of umbrellas, so we are not going to be soaking wet by the time we catch up to the criminals. And why don't you wait here for me? I'll go fetch us the umbrellas." Now Fan said, "Okay, cool, thanks. I'll wait here for you." Keep in mind that at this point, when Xie said he was going to go get the umbrellas, it was still just cloudy. It wasn't raining yet. But halfway home, the rain started to fall, and by the time Xie got to his place, it was raining so hard that the roads were getting washed out. It was like a flood coming down from the heaven. After getting the umbrellas, Xie said to himself, "I wonder if Fan is still waiting there for me. It's raining so hard. I wouldn't be surprised if he decided to go back to the station and we can do this later. Uh, or maybe he find a nearby restaurant to wait out the rain." But then Xie said to himself, he said, "No, that's not Fan. Fan has never broken his word for me, his word to me. He has never broken a promise. Whatever he says, you can take it to the bank. His words are gold. So if Fan said he's going to wait there by the bridge, he's going to wait there by the bridge. I better hurry back." So Xie took the umbrellas and started back. Well, unfortunately, because by this time the rain was coming down so hard that the roads were being washed out. Back then, it's not like modern city. It's all dirt road and slippery slope. So even though originally it only took Xie half an hour to get home to get the umbrella, the trip back took him almost 3 hours, and he was falling and slipping and hurting himself constantly. Every few steps he was slipping, and he had to detour around landslides and mudslides and stuff like that. It was a really dangerous trek. While Xie was trying his best to get back, Fan was getting drenched, waiting there by the bridge. So Fan thought to himself, he said, "I wonder, since it's raining this hard, maybe Xie decided to just stay home and not come back." And then he said to himself, "No, that's not Xie, because Xie is a man of his word. He's never broken his word in his whole life. He's my most trusted friend. If he said he's going to come back, he's going to come back, and I'm going to wait and this exact spot for him. Remember, Fun is really short. He's really short and fat. So he's waiting there. He's standing by the bridge, waiting for Xie to come back with the umbrellas. He's getting soaked, and at this time it was raining so hard that the river was rising. The level of the river was rising, and the river became a raging torrent. And suddenly, Fan slipped and fell into the river and was washed away and drowned. By the time Xie got back to the river, all he saw was this raging torrent of water. He didn't see his best friend anywhere. He walked up and down the river, didn't see his best friend anywhere. So he went home. Next day, Fan's swollen and battered corpse was found downstream by fishermen, and the fishermen reported into the officers, the constables. And that's when Xie found out that while Fan was waiting for him to come back with the umbrella, Fan slipped and got drowned. Xie felt so guilty about not making it back in time. He went to the river, found a tree, and hung himself in uh, in guilt. After the two of them ended up in the afterlife, it was said that Chen Wang was so touched by their honor toward each other. They both died because they felt that it was an honorable way to keep their word to their friend. Chen Wang decided to appeal to the Jade Emperor in heaven to make human uh, these two constables that were the best constables when they were human, his personal constables, and he would send them out to bring back the spirits of the newly deceased, because he knows if they give you their word that they're going to come back with a soul or a spirit, they will not come back without it. Because Xie, Master 7, was always known as a kindly, merciful person. If a criminal repent, he would treat them fairly and with mercy. Master 7, the White Reaper, is also known as the Ghost of Mercy. While Master 8, when he was alive, he was the law officer that was harsh and very honest, and everything had to be by the book. He was the uh, the the the, uh, the person who would uphold justice no matter the cost. If you did something wrong, he would punish you. So after he died, Master 8 also is known as the Ghost of Justice. It is said that Chen Wang have the ghost of mercy and the ghost of justice work together because they were best friends when they were human, and they work best together. And also Chen Wang understand that mercy and justice cannot exist without each other. They have to go hand in hand to have the best results. And I think that is something, if anything, I think that is the wisdom of the day, that mercy without justice would just be misplaced mercy. Justice without mercy would just be cruelty. Thank you for checking out today's Wisdom Wednesday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Toy Thursday. Say goodbye, Aslan. I'll talk to you guys again soon. For now, goodbye and 再见。